Welcome to Inside the Studio, KFIZ at 100. Conversations with some of the station's biggest and brightest all-time personalities. I'm your host, Sean Kaiser. This episode features longtime sports announcer, morning show host, and programmer Wade Bates. A native of central Wisconsin, Wade's love for AM radio began when he was growing up in Wisconsin Rapids.
I listened to AM radio in my bedroom at night, trying to pick up stations as far away as I could. And I listened to stations in Boston and New Orleans, St. Louis, Denver.
Wade broke into the business back in the mid-90s while attending college at UW-Oshkosh. That initial part-time gig was to be an in-studio producer, and Wade still vividly remembers the first time he came in to train with one of his new coworkers.
Don't even remember what his name was, but we were on the old Scott Street location. And I walk in there and he's smoking a cigarette. And he says, "Don't tell anybody I'm smoking a cigarette."
Once that smoke cleared, Wade's responsibilities grew, and he handled a number of different duties, including covering the Green Bay Packers during their return to glory.
I remember going to training camp and interviewing Antonio Freeman for the first time. That was one of the first guys that he ever interviewed one-on-one in training camp when he was just a young player. But so I did that, covered a few games here and there. Then when Chuck Freeman got hired, kind of got us covering the Packers full time. Next thing you know, I'm looking for stuff to do, going up there every Monday and Wednesday, and then game days when Chuck wasn't covering.
Wade also played a major role in the station's coverage of high school sports across 3 different decades, doing play-by-play or color commentary for more than 1,000 games.
Neil Fisher threw that no-hitter in the state championship game. I mean, we'll always remember that. We'll remember one of the Grafton boys scoring 5 touchdowns in a WISA state championship game in the late 1990s. Fond of like basketball. Those are good teams that Dick Diener coached, and he had Travis Diener was in the NBA, Drake Diener, who had a big run overseas, and then he had a bunch of other guys that were not just guys, but guys that knew how to play basketball. And
in 2005, Wade took over as KFIZ program director, overseeing all of the station's operations, as well as hosting the Breakfast Club for a few years.
I love Fond du Lac and will always love Fond du Lac, and doing whatever I could in that 6 till 9:30 time frame to make Fond du Lac a better place every day. Talking to whether it be people from the Humane Society, Fire Chief O'Leary, when he came in, I could just call him whenever. Talking to Phil Moses, Rockin' Bob, talking to community members is what I remember most about that, and just being a part of the community and trying to make a difference.
Wade now works in the Beaver Dam market while also calling games for Marian University. But his time at KFIZ is and will forever be his favorite.
The fact that I was able to be there for 22 years of that 100, I'll always take pride in that. I'm always going to love what KFIZ is and what it means.
Thanks for joining us, and keep listening for more episodes of Inside the Studio, KFIZ at 100.